You will find very often top Congress leaders coming on TV or writing in newspapers that how cozy a relationship Subhas Bose shared with Jawaharlal Nehru, how good friends they were. And Mahatma Gandhi was almost a surrogate father. So that, in those terms, I mean, we have a tradition of censoring historical facts. We have a tradition of papering over unpleasant facts to make it look pleasant. And we cheat ourselves by doing that. So let's quickly have a look at what the reality was. This is another example. This is a letter, a joint statement issued by Subhas Bose and Vittalbhai Patel. I got this a few weeks ago from the French archives. Unfortunately, we still don't have it here in our archives, or it has never been published. So this is an original statement signed by both of them, Vittalbhai Patel, the elder brother of Vallabhbhai Patel, and Subhas Chandra Bose in Vienna, 9th May 1933, where they were asking Gandhi to relinquish the leadership of the Congress. Gandhi was described as a useless piece of furniture. So that is in 1933. That is the tone. In 1928, Subhas Bose starts opposing Gandhi. Gandhi is mad with him, but can't do much because Subhas has the backing of the Bengal youth and the Punjab youth, the Maharashtra youth behind him. He has already become a youth leader. And to some extent, to a great extent, Jawaharlal Nehru is siding with him, except for the times when they had to really make a decision. That is when the Jawaharlal Nehru would always go back and fall at the feet of the Mahatma and go back to him. But otherwise, they were always together, I mean, mobilizing the youth. And in the book, I have quoted this government report, which was secret at that time, that the Viceroy of India was writing at that time that for the first time, the word independence has gained a proper meaning out of its academic meaning. Now, these guys have made it appear that they mean business. So, Subhas and Nehru, Subhas and Jawaharlal, these are the two names constantly keep coming up in government files at that time. And Subhas throws a challenge that he would not agree for dominion status, fights the next year when Gandhi says, okay, we are announcing independence as Congress goal. He says, why do you want to announce independence as a goal? Why don't you just declare it? Let us set up a parallel government. And Gandhiji goes hopping mad. I mean, he says, he ridicules Subhas in the strongest of languages. He says, you might be strong, you might pick up and you might be able to pick me up and throw me away, but that doesn't give you that wisdom. Congress does not have the organization to raise the national flag even in 1,000 villages. So he completely overrules Subhas, and I mean, the same logic, however, gets overturned by himself in 1942. Not much had changed in 1942 from 1929. But then Gandhiji becomes impatient in 1942 and says, quit India. So, I mean, the same person in different times have spoken in different languages. That is not the case with Subhas. He was constant. He was for independence, complete independence, and never minced his words for it. Now, that was the relationship with Gandhiji. Gandhiji, even when Subhas Bose was elected or selected Congress president in 1938, Gandhiji writes to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel that I find him completely unreliable. He is not dependable at all. So, I mean, that is the mentality with which, that is the mindset with which he is reluctantly appointed the president, because there is no one else for that year. Jawaharlal Nehru had been president for the previous 2 years. Sardar Patel refused to become the new president, and there was nobody else of that national stature. So Subhas was reluctantly given, and when the next year he wants to remain president, the whole Gandhian establishment goes after his life. So they don't want him at any cost. He has to be thrown out. And that is when Subhas Bose writes to his nephew Amirnath Bose, nobody has done more harm to me personally and to our cause in this crisis than Pandit Nehru. This is his handwritten letter. So talk about friendship. Of course, there was friendship. There was camaraderie. They were together, and there were a lot of similarities in their economic and political outlook, mental outlook even. But there were fundamental political differences, and the differences, Subhas Bose has written about this trait of Pandit Nehru of repeatedly surrendering to Gandhiji's personality in his Indian struggle also, which he wrote in 1934. So that was in 1939. And in 1940, this is Nehru's criticism. This one is Nehru's criticism of Subhas Bose. Subhas has gone off the rails and has been behaving badly in many ways. Apart from principles and policies, Subhas's methods of work are difficult to put up with. So Nehru can't tolerate Subhas anymore. And from jail in 1940, in July, August, from July onwards, 1940, Subhas was in jail. Just 6 months before he left the country. And from there, he writes to his elder brother, Shri Chandrachur Ghose. The latest phase of Gandhiism with its sanctimonious hypocrisy, these are very strong words. These are very strong words. And these are not one-off things. Many people try to portray these as one-off things. Oh, just a momentary anger. No, these are very well thought out sentences. The latest phase of Gandhiism with its sanctimonious hypocrisy is sickening to a degree. One is forced to wonder which is a greater menace to India's political future, the British bureaucracy or the Gandhian hierarchy. These are very, very strong, damning words. And I mean, these are not to be taken lightly. And in the same letter, he writes things about the Indian independence, post-independence scenario. And he says, if power goes into the hands of such mean, vindictive, unscrupulous persons. Who are these mean, vindictive, unscrupulous persons he is referring to? To the Gandhian High Command. Who were the Gandhian High Command at that time? It was Jawaharlal Nehru, it was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, it was Kripalani, it was Rajagopalachari, Bhulabhai Desai. These were the stalwarts who actually, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, they ruled the country practically after independence. So these are the set of people, and many people try to downplay this friction, this clash of points of view and personality conflict. But this is very serious. If power goes into the hands of such mean, vindictive and unscrupulous persons when Swaraj is won, what will happen to the country? Gandhiism will land free India in a ditch. So we smile when we have a wry smile on our face when we see our Prime Minister say that Gandhiism can wipe out terrorism from the world. If free India is sought to be rebuilt on Gandhian non-violent principles, India will then be offering a standing invitation to all predatory powers, something that we repeatedly saw from 1948 to 1962. Even 1965. So these were his words for the Gandhian leadership.